The abandoned amusement park had been dead for decades, a hushed skeleton on the edge of town, yet everyone nearby knew its reputation. The stories were not about graffiti or vandalism, nor the rusted rides that groaned under the wind. No, the tales were far worse. Time itself was said to stop within the park's boundaries. Shadows moved when no one was watching. Whispers twisted into screams. An oppressive stillness weighed down on any who dared enter. The place was called Marrow Park, though no living soul remembered the day it opened. It had been abruptly shuttered after a series of unexplained accidents. Some whispered that the park had never been built for amusement at all. It had been erected over something older, something hungry. From the highway, Marrow Park appeared as a decaying monolith. The Ferris wheel loomed like a skeletal hand, its rusted carriages frozen mid-air, colors dulled into ash. The gate sagged on rusted hinges, a sign swinging lazily above it, peeling letters spelling, Marrow Park, fun lives here. The words pulsed with an unnatural energy, as if alive, watching, waiting. The air inside the park was unnaturally cold, carrying a stillness that resisted all movement. Leaves and debris crunched underfoot, but beneath it all, there was another sound. A faint whisper, impossible to locate, brushing against the ears like a sigh of steel. The park did not feel empty. It remembered. Every footstep, every breath, every fear was etched into its bones. The carousel stood first in sight, grotesque in its decay. Paint peeled into jagged claw-like patterns. The horses stared with hollow eyes, frozen mid-gallop. A sudden creak made the Ferris wheel sway, though nothing had touched it. Shadows flickered at the corner of vision. Movement was there, but no one could be seen. Something watched, and the park exhaled. The bumper car arena followed, a hollowed-out hall of faded vinyl and cracked foam. Something soft pressed underfoot. A doll, face smeared with dirt, eyes staring blankly at the grey sky. Then came the sound, nails dragged across metal, deliberate, echoing from the catwalks above. And then the laughter. A child's, brittle, sharp, echoing across empty steel. It was not playful. It was hunger wrapped in mirth, echoing off walls that weren't there before. The paths twisted impossibly. Corners folded into themselves, creating new hallways, rides, and stalls that hadn't existed moments before. The park was alive. It watched. It remembered. Shadows pulsed with intent, waiting for any soul foolish enough to enter its maw. Time stopped. The sun hung frozen, a dim grey disk in the sky. Shadows held their place. The air thickened, resisting every movement, every escape attempt. The swing set waited in a clearing that had appeared without warning. One swing moved slowly, back and forth. On it sat a figure, elongated and unnaturally thin. Its head tilted impossibly, eyes nothing but darkness. Movement in its gaze was unnecessary. The figure's stare reached into the marrow, into the very essence of those who observed it. Shadows pulsed around it, whispering, beckoning, promising. The first attack came not with a scream, but with sensation. A cold hand, sharp as broken glass, brushing across invisible flesh. Shadows slithered along the ground like liquid smoke. Laughter multiplied, became layered, inhuman. The voices came from everywhere and nowhere. The park's air tasted metallic, thick with the scent of rust, earth, and something worse. The Ferris wheel groaned, chains rattling without wind, as though the park itself had drawn a breath and claimed the intruder as prey. The funhouse distorted reality. Mirrors twisted reflections into grotesque parodies, some smiling, while others screamed silently. In the central hall, a pale girl stood. Wet hair clung to her face, eyes dark as voids, mouth moving without sound. The walls bent subtly, preventing escape. Exits retreated with every step. Every doorway led deeper into the park's labyrinthine hunger. Shadows stretched, lengthened, thickened. They moved with patience, with purpose. Time had no meaning. Minutes or hours might have passed, days even. The carousel spun with violent rhythm, horses frozen in silent gaping terror. Shadows clung to the poles, rising as if riding the beasts themselves. A voice whispered, almost tenderly, "Do you want to ride?" The temperature dropped sharply, air heavy, and a stench of decay, rust, and wet soil filled the lungs. The park claimed the unwilling, dragging them inexorably toward its mechanical heart. The arcade flickered with broken screens. A pixelated clown waved, its mouth moving in this, really unnatural way. Its voice layered in a chorus of inhuman tones. Welcome back. Reality walked even further. Corridors shifted, and tunnels appeared where none should exist. The park reshaped itself endlessly, trapping and disorienting. Every sound echoed back, warped into screams, whispers, voices of those who had vanished before. The park devoured memory and made it its own. Every ride preserved a moment. Every shadow held memory. Rusted rides and decaying booths were not evidence of neglect. they were tombs. The park existed in stasis, feeding on its own recollections and the terror of any intruder. Its hunger was, well, methodical, patient. It did not need to rush. Every visitor left a trace. Every trace was absorbed. Every absorbed fear became a shadow roaming the park, waiting for the next soul to stumble in. The Ferris wheel began its slow rotation, squealing with dry metal. The swings moved with no one upon them. Shadows deepened under the rides, clinging to their iron bones. Children who had vanished decades ago whispered from corners, and figures who had never left beckoned with impossibly long limbs. The park was alive, breathing, shaping itself around fear. It was not abandoned, it was eternal. Those who glimpsed Marrow Park from the highway often spoke of a chill in the air, a sense of being watched, of time momentarily halting. Locals avoided the roads near it after dark. They whispered that the park did not just trap the living, it trapped memory. Every visitor who wandered within left something behind, something that fed the park, strengthened it, sharpened its appetite. Shadows grew longer with every passing decade, patiently learning, waiting. Even after leaving, traces of the park lingered. At night, faint creaks and whispers echoed beyond the gates. Dreams were invaded by spinning carousels, moving swings, and shadows that bent in impossible ways. The whispers spoke of children lost, of workers whose laughter had been stolen, of visitors whose fears had been woven into the park's architecture. Every sound, every movement, every thought became part of the park's fabric. Marrow Park did not decay, it did not weaken. It waited. Shadows remembered every step, every heartbeat, every breath of those who dared enter. The park's hunger was patient, its memory infinite. One day, the shadows would reclaim those who had escaped. They would drag them back, piece by piece, into the labyrinth where time itself bent and shivered. The Ferris wheel's skeletal frame reached into the grey sky, motionless yet alive. The wind carried faint whispers, laughter that promised both welcome and terror. No path led safely through the park. No exit offered freedom. Those who approached saw it, sensed it, but could never truly know it. Marrow Park was watching, always. The shadows roamed endlessly, and for anyone foolish enough to linger, the hunger would follow, patient, eternal, unstoppable. The park's warning was clear: do not enter, do not linger, do not remember. Once a shadow notices, the memory remains. Once a foot crosses the threshold, the park begins to take. Once a heartbeat slows, the shadow waits. Time itself is irrelevant. Steel, rust, and darkness are eternal. The shadows never stop roaming. Marrow Park was not dead. It had never been. It had only been waiting. If this story gave chills down your spine, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, so others can witness the terrifying truth of Marrow Park. Keep your eyes open, and your distance.
Yeah.